report. Now, there is one big stumbling block, of course, on any agreement that happens, and that is the fate of Lebanon. There are different takes on what is actually happening. The Iranians, as they're expressing the situation right now, say that the statement that is about to come out does mention Lebanon three times, and it is very much part and parcel of a cessation of hostilities. But from the American side of things, there is a different take. And they're very much saying that Israel will always have its right to attack if defended. We understand that Benjamin Netanyahu has just said that, as well as running in the upcoming Israeli elections, that Israel will remain in the buffer zone for as long as needs be. With this in mind, let's get some clarification on the situation and bring in from Jerusalem our correspondent Noga Tarnopolsky, who always manages to give us a broad view. And that is what we need right now. Noga, great to see you, and thanks, as always, for being with us. This situation that as it stands, do we know precisely what is in store for the Israel-Hezbollah conflict when the US-Iran deal is signed?
We really don't, Mark. The entire situation remains extremely murky, down to this strange digital signing by both the US president and the vice president, bizarrely, on a document that no one has seen. The headline that we can take out of this press conference that the Prime Minister of Israel is just wrapping up now is that he said out loud, "We don't know what will be in the agreement." So Israel will be held to an agreement by the United States that apparently it has not seen, just as we have not seen. And the only real news we've got at it, which did respond to almost a panic attack, I should say, that washed over Jerusalem today, was the White House statement that that there's no clause in this agreement that will oblige Israel to withdraw to the international border. That was one point. And the other, that Israel will retain the right to defend itself if attacked by Hezbollah. What we haven't heard much of is the other side of the coin of the United States accepting basically parameters imposed by Iran that grant Iran a say over the sovereign integrity of Lebanon. In other words, the Lebanese government, which has remained very diplomatic today, with the prime minister making some pretty banal statements, simply, again, reasserting Lebanon's right to live within its own borders. But Lebanon has been trying to kick Iran out of its territory. It went so far as to make the Iranian ambassador persona non grata. He refused to leave, but is no longer considered an ambassador. The Lebanese government is insisting that Hezbollah has to disarm, as has been stated in every single ceasefire agreement, of the last several years. And granting Iran its wish to itself define the fate of Lebanon seems to also possibly damage the Lebanese government's effort to really reassert its own control over the entire territory of Lebanon.
Look, one wonders where Benjamin Netanyahu stands now, because February the 28th, it was very clear he stood with Donald Trump, shoulder to shoulder, the two men leading their countries into this venture in Iran. Has that changed? What is the situation? Where does Benjamin Netanyahu go from here?
That is an excellent question. We saw President Trump today say that he hoped for good relations with the Islamic Republic of Iran, a radical change from what he was saying at the end of February, which was hoping for regime change. And today, at this press conference we now see on the screen, Prime Minister Netanyahu was asked this question directly by one of our Israeli colleagues, Moav Vardi, who said, "You assured us that there would be regime change in Iran. The government of Iran remains standing. Where did you go wrong?" And the prime minister responded mostly in fury, to such an extent that his voice shook. And he said, "How dare you say? Why do you say I went wrong?" And he listed a long list of his version of successes against Iran. But it ended up with him saying that this Iranian access, this Iranian fan of different proxies in the Middle East, its line against Israel has been weakened. That was his word, weakened. This is in stark contrast to what the Prime Minister of Israel has been saying to Israelis for months, really, since last June, a year ago, after the first Israeli led war against Iran, at the end of which he said that the nuclear threat against Israel had been annihilated. There were no such definitive words from him tonight.
Noga, as always, thank you very much indeed for bringing your analysis to the table. It's greatly appreciated. Noga Tarnopolsky, our correspondent, joining us live from Jerusalem. Thank you once again, Noga.